Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name's London Rook, and today we're going to be talking about the Creation Club, Bethesda's new payment model. Just a quick heads up. My voice may be a little bit off today because I'm recovering from dental surgery, so I do apologize. But let's move forward anyway. On June 11th, 2017, Bethesda presented a show at E3, in which they mentioned what game titles are currently in the pipeline. Sandwiched between these announcements came the news of a new service they dubbed the Creation Club. This new service would be limited to the latest installments of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout franchises, Skyrim and Fallout 4 respectively. On first glance, it appears as if this is a simple rehash of the paid mod system that was infamously put into place in partnership with Valve 2 years ago, and unceremoniously dumped soon after. Bethesda has been quick to distance themselves from this, and many of the associated materials stress that this isn't a quote, paid mod situation. However, judging by the trailer, the newly developed mods appear to be locked behind a paywall. Presumably, users would buy credits, and in turn spend those credits on the newly created content. So Bethesda's messaging at this time seems to be, this isn't paid mods, merely mods that you pay for. While this is technically different, conceptually and fundamentally the transaction remains the same scenario. And this failure of messaging reads as a disingenuous overture which seeks to obfuscate rather than inform. Which is a shame because there are significant differences with the new system that should be highlighted from its previous incarnation. Valve is no longer involved, and Bethesda is hosting the specialized content on its own service, Bethesda.net. More importantly, this content will be highly curated, as opposed to the more laissez-faire, free-for-all approach that was previously attempted in 2015. All approved content will go through a vetting process involving a series of quality checks, beginning at its pitch. So creators will have to pitch their ideas directly to Bethesda, through alpha, beta, and release. Hitting these milestones will mean that Bethesda will pay its creators directly, although we don't know any details on how much, or the method of which these payments may be doled out. And that's the real heart of the problem as I see it. As of right now, there's no transparency to see what this process entails, what the rewards and benefits of going through this process is, and the quality and type of content Bethesda is expecting to produce via this new method. Meaning that the community as a whole, and mod makers specifically, are left in the dark to wonder what is in store for their future. Historically, keeping its public in the dark has served Bethesda well in past years, such as when new franchise titles launch. However, the landscape post-launch is markedly different than one would otherwise assume, and using the same playbook will most likely generate a much more negative pushback, like the kind of backlash we've seen twice thus far. Mystery can work well with a company that has a proven and relatively unblemished track record of handling community engagement. However, on the heels of the Steam Workshop incident, that goodwill has been severely diminished, and it's likely the type of hype expected by those controlling Bethesda's image will just as likely turn to suspicion and doubt in this hostile environment. Ardent fans, already suspicious they're being tricked, may jump to the worst-case conclusions based on the limited evidence shown. What's concerning is that common details have been omitted entirely, so we don't know what kinds of issues might arise from these contracts. Mod makers are wary about involving themselves in a system with seemingly arbitrary expectations. And similarly, YouTubers are crying foul with the worry that microtransactions will become a norm instead of the DLC-sized contents they deem worth paying for. Regardless of the type of content that those within Bethesda deem worthy of pursuit, this content will be released eventually, and it would be wise to provide more information publicly to dispel any notions of ulterior or hidden motives. For healthy engagement between the two, the community doesn't need Bethesda to control its narrative. It needs to have a proper and open channel of communication detailing exactly what type of relationship the company is looking for in future interactions. Barring that open and honest exchange, suspicions and tensions will most assuredly rise.